Hi there, gorgeous soul peeps and soul fam. You're here today with another tarot reading by Cassy. Asking today, what is changing for you? And we have got 4 piles for this reading. If you want to jump ahead to your pile or piles, because you can certainly choose more than one, the timestamps are in the description and also in the comment section. And if you wanted to stick around and find out a little bit more about your card and the stone that's paired with it, then please be my guest. We're using the Horse Wisdom Oracle for our significator cards today. And I have done a search aside from I did a search on this one just to be sure, but I know that's rose quartz. The others I wasn't sure of. I got a few different hits on this one especially. So if you know definitively what this is, and you can tell with the lighting that I've got going on, because it's shocking. I have a halo lamp, a desk lamp, and an overhead light, and yeah, would prefer it if I had something a little bit more upgraded. But anyhow, it means that I've got a few different hits on that one. So if you happen to know what it is, feel free to drop me a comment. But we have these 4 cards today. I thought it was really interesting because this deck has side cards, sideways cards, and upright cards. And all 4 that I shuffled out were all on their side. So important messages to be heard. This is a timeless reading. So whenever it comes to you or you come across it, there could be a message for you in it, but it's also a general reading. So remember just to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And again, asking the question, what is changing for you? So pile number 1, number 15, medicine hats. And that is paired with, this is the only one I don't know how to say, and I'm hoping I will say it correctly, labradorite. Labradorite. I think that's how you say it. I always see it in my head as Labrador, right? But that's obviously not it at all. But the labradorite and medicine hats, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Pile number 2, dancing on Terra Firma, number 26. And the green adventurine. Pile number 3, we've got Shanti, number 8. And we have the chevron amethyst. And lastly, but not least, we have number 30, Belleza, Fiera, or Belleza Fiera, actually, I think that is how I would pronounce that. Belleza Fiera and the rose quartz. So if you'd like a little bit more time to choose your pile, feel free to pause the video. If you are ready to get into your reading, you can jump right in via the timestamps, and I look forward to seeing you over there. Hi there, my gorgeous pile number 1. If you chose this card, number 15, medicine hats, and or this labradorite, then you are my pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So first of all, I'm going to read from the guidebook for this deck because I am not ultra familiar with the cards, but this one came out for me literally right before this reading. I gave myself a very quick reading and this card jumped out, so it wants to be out here today. Medicine hats. See all of life as a mirror to your consciousness. 2 identical horses mirror their images back to each other. Brown splashes dynamically across their primarily white body. The black bonnet-shaped markings on the top of their heads contrast with their white faces, giving them the status of the medicine hat horse. The name medicine hat horse is steeped in the First Nations traditions in the United States. Native American legend says that the medicine hat horses can protect their riders and bring them good luck. 2 medicine hat horses want to ignite in you a particular medicine that will change your life and bring good to you and others. The 2 horses mirror each other. They are individuals, yet very much alike. They encourage you to embrace the concepts that life is full of mirrors. They ask you to see the humanity in others and have compassion for all other beings, including animals and Mother Earth. Every being is a reflection of our soul and our shadow side. Spiritual beings have kindness and acceptance of others, while the ego and humanness pull people into judgment, frustration, or dominance. It is best not to judge others for what they do or offer. Instead of going against them, accept them where they are on their path. As humans, we all have the capacity to be harsh and unkind, or the opposite, loving and caring. The world and all of her beings are mirrors of all possibilities of consciousness. As you embrace this constant, you will find ways to instill great peace inside your being. Accepting what is your medicine. Accepting what is your medicine. Okay, guys, so I'm also going to grab some tarot so I can clarify exactly what's been going on here, but I feel that you either have been judging others harshly and finding it difficult to connect with the wider world, maybe not necessarily your inner sanctum and circle of people, but potentially the wider world. So getting frustrated with people on the road, getting frustrated with people at the shops, getting frustrated with the people at work, casting judgments. It could be that you have been doing that, my gorgeous pile number ones, or it could be that that has been happening to you and you have been feeling harshly judged and critiqued by others. So whichever one feels resonant for you, pile number one, you will know yourself. I feel like you will know if you've been quite judgy and have been giving people a bit of a hard time, even if it's just in your head, or if that is what you have been on the receiving end of. But that's going to change one way or the other. That is going to change. So right off the bat, you are going to either experience a change in the way that people are treating you, looking at you, making you feel, or you will actually start to soften yourself and start to realize that people, here we go, 2 flew out then, people are mirrors, like the book said, and that you are getting energy that is mirrored back to you. The energy that's getting mirrored back to you is the energy that you have been sending out. I love this, 2 of Cups. So very much a reconciliation, a partnership forming, a new appreciation for the people around you. And we also have the 4 of Cups. So not wanting to take that cup that's on offer and not being too happy about what is already in front of you. So I'm even seeing that there's this cup being offered and it looks like they've taken it on, but then this man, he does not want to accept the cup that is on offer to him. So that could even be saying that even when people don't necessarily, so you can go out there with the best of energies in the world and be so friendly and so kind and so nice and so wonderful, and then people will still turn around and be a complete asshat to you for no good reason. So that's not necessarily what's going to change. What's going to change is you won't feel like you're fighting against everything when you are actually going out into the world and interacting with others and being in situations where you, I guess, cannot help. You can't escape conflict. You can't be the predictor of everybody's moods and manners. But I feel that if, as I said, if it's you that's been very judgmental toward others, then that's going to start to ease and soften. And even if you do treat people well and they don't accept what you're here offering them, I feel that it's not going to feel like so much of a fight to actually just let it go, to allow for it to just not bother you at all anymore. And again, if the situation is reversed and it feels like you've been being very judged and judged harshly by others, that feeling is going to start to ease up. You're going to start to not look at what is being dished out to you, and it's not going to feel like such a struggle internally or even externally. You're going to start to break away from this energy and just start to release yourself from what it is that other people think, to the point that people will start to treat you differently because you won't be observing what it is that they are doing or thinking or saying. Your perception of other people's opinions of you will no longer be your business, as my husband likes to say. So we'll get some more cards for you, pile number one, to see what else is changing for you. Knight of Wands. Yeah, new energy is going to come in. This is definitely a situation where things have felt very stagnant for a very long time. It could be people that you see regularly that you just are really not getting along with at this point in time. It feels like either maybe you're even both judging each other. It could be quite possible that you're just not seeing eye to eye with the people that you used to. And this is a whole new energy with the Knight of Wands coming rushing in. So I do very much feel like whatever this judgment is, whatever this harshness may be, yeah, the Fool, stepping into something brand new. Not knowing where you're going, but stepping into it anyway. And his little loyal dog that he has by his side as well. So there's loyalty here. So I do feel that you are going to start spending a lot less time, whichever side of the fence you're on, if you've been on the receiving side of judgment and harsh criticisms, or just the feeling that people, oh, and we've got the Star, the Wish card, on the base, the foundation of the deck, guys. So yeah, this is whether you've been the recipient of this behavior or you have been the one who has been dishing it out. I feel like if you've been dishing it out, it's not who you are generally as a person. Maybe you're just really tired, burnt out, things have been not going the greatest, and you have started to get a bit angry at the world for it, or as I said, maybe it's something that you have been experiencing. But either way, you're going to start to let go of this feeling, and it's going to bring in this beautiful new energy. With the Knight of Wands, he is absolutely rushing into the scene, so I feel so much of a burst of energy here. And then stepping into the unknown with the Fool. So someone who is very carefree, very lighthearted, whatever burdens you're experiencing that are causing you to feel frustrated with the world, or feel as though the world is frustrated at you, which would be very frustrating in and of itself, you are going to start to let that go. Beautiful pile number ones, and just step into fresh new energy, and things are going to feel like a lot less of a fight, a lot less of a burden. And if there are people here, like I said, that aren't accepting of what it is that you have to offer, you will no longer keep fighting with yourself to give that person what they want. You will go on to be kind to people, to be, that popped straight out, the Tower. Yeah, I feel like the old ways of doing things are going to come down. So maybe you have been working in a position, or there has been a relationship, or just something over time that has really felt like it's been built on very shaky foundations, and that is starting to fall away now. Whatever this relationship was, whatever this belief was, it could even just be, again, coming back to judgments. Maybe you've got beliefs that you have had about people that now you're starting to feel are being shaken up, and you are no longer looking at them through the same lens that you did before. What you knew about them is falling away. And then we've got these beautiful butterflies coming out of this fire. Look, even his acorn is on fire. Everything is on fire. But at the same time, we've got these gorgeous butterflies symbolizing new life, transformation, hope. So I feel very much that you're either looking at the world very differently, pile number one, or you're looking at yourselves very differently. And oftentimes when we don't believe in ourselves, we can start to think that what others say or do, the looks they give us, the mannerisms that they use, that is somehow saying something about what they think of us and who we are, when in actual fact we're just projecting our own self-judgments and our own difficulties onto that person. So there's always the chance that if you do feel that you are being judged, it's actually your own insecurities being mirrored back here by the people around you. So this card spoke about being a mirror, the two horses mirroring one another. So it could even be that it's just the way that you feel, and that is going to start to come apart in the best possible way. The foundations of whatever beliefs you have been on unfirm footing, and this Tower moment of those beliefs changing and it happening very, very fast here with the Knight of Wands energy is really going to send you stepping into a new carefree energy where you're not worried about what others are doing or thinking, and you're focused on yourself and what it is that you want for yourself, my gorgeous pile number ones. So you might even improve the way that you look at yourself personally, and then stop projecting those thoughts onto other people, and stop making the assumption that people are judging you or looking down on you or speaking ill to or of you. Or it could be that you start to release the judgments and the feelings that you have had toward others, and you start to look at them differently. So gorgeous. We have again the Fool a second time. Two Fools. So yes, definitely pile number one. You guys are going to be stepping into a new way of being, seeing, and feeling the world around you. And it's going to feel really positive. It's going to feel very lighthearted. It's going to feel very joyous. You are going to feel a renewed sense of hope about the world in and of itself, and about what the prospects are for you. Start to see new opportunities. Start to get excited about things again. Start to feel very hopeful for the future. All right, I just want two more, please, Spirit. Yep, you really shot out. King of Wands, beautiful. So showing strength, and the king is presiding over all of this inspiration that comes out with the wands, all of this movement, all of this energy, all of this excitement. You will also be very, very measured and very wise. He's got the salamander there on his shirt and the lion here in the background that's steadfast and unmoving. The king is definitely someone who has the same magic that the Knight of Wands does in terms of having all of this fire, all of this inspiration, all of this excitement, but he is able to master it. He is able to be calm. He is able to direct the energy. He is able to see where he wants it to go. So you're stepping off into this new adventure of life as the Fool twice. So not looking where you're going, just diving right in, just being prepared to enjoy whatever is going to happen. And what is going to happen is it is going to bring about a sense of calm to you, a sense of, as I said before, renewed hope, renewed excitement, renewed joy. But you are going to feel as though you are totally in control. You step off not knowing what's to come, and then you gain control over whatever it is that's going on and find ways to keep that in your life, to bring it in further and to keep it in your life as well. And beautiful, we have another Knight of Wands. Pile number 1, this is a really gorgeous reading. We've got all of this fun, all of this energy, this beautiful horse spirit over here, which again is mirroring to me these horses over here. Not that one so much. I don't know why I didn't think about that one with the horses, but this one just made me think of these two. So yeah, you're going to be, as you look into this mirror, as you approach people or connect with people or just come across people, and you have a thought, whether it's that they are thinking badly of you or whether you, for whatever reason, are judging and thinking badly of them, you are going to really stop and realize this person is a mirror. And if someone is in my life and they are, for whatever reason, bugging the ever-living daylights out of me and I just cannot stand this person, or maybe it's not even that deep, maybe it's just that you can't stand a particular thing that they do, you will know that it's time to look within yourself and ask yourself, why is that trait bothering me so much? Why is that frustrating me? Why didn't I like that tone of voice? Why didn't I appreciate the way that that was said? Why did I think that look that I just got was something negative or something critical? And when you start asking yourself that question, you will really start to find the ways that you interact with others, connect with them, how much time you spend thinking about them, how much you let them live rent-free in your head is going to really diminish, and you are going to start seeing a really brand new, exciting, uplifting, upbeat energy that is just going to come in, even with the wands being here. The Seven of Wands, while he's clearly fighting, you can see it on his face, he's angrily stabbing in his last wand to try to protect his territory and hold his ground over here. It's still very much, Wands is still all about fire and energy. So you're going to take whatever energy you've been pouring into this situation, into this thought form, thought pattern, you are going to take that and you are going to turn it around, pile number 1, to actually just looking at the world from a really different place, which will set you free from a lot of the exhaustion and worry. Yeah, here we go. 4 of Pentacles. She's holding her purse with her pentacles to herself. This is precisely what I'm saying. You are going to start drawing your energy in towards you and not allow it to be focused externally on the world and what they're doing and what they're thinking and how they might be looking at you. That is going to really start to dissipate, and you are going to start just focusing on what brings you joy, what brings you pleasure, what makes you want to get up in the morning and get going, go jumping off that cliff into something new, into something exciting. What is it that really lights your fire, my pile number 1? I'm going to grab another couple from the Horse Wisdom deck, and I will read them from the book. Most likely, there are a few that look like they could be read intuitively, but the book does have a fair bit of information. But yeah, this is a really lovely reading, pile number 1. What is going to change for you is just a shift in perception and perspective, and that small shift is going to actually just open up a whole world of change, a really different worldview. It might be that you realize that someone you work with who seems as though they've been quite rude to you speaks English as a second language, and their way of just describing something or saying something might be very, very different from your understanding of it or how you would say it or interpret it. So it could just be a little thing that you sit back and go, you know what, maybe I've actually been looking at this wrong. And that is going to open up a channel for you to start being able to stop and think that with each interaction, and to ask yourself, as I said, is this situation a mirroring situation? Am I mirroring back what I'm thinking? Or am I very aware of this person's behavior because it is something that I do myself? Or is this rubbing me the wrong way because of XYZ? Dawn Watcher, number 13. It's very interesting with these. I'm not sure what they are. That symbol that's on his hind quarters, but there's a handprint there as well, and the feathers, and also some little stripes across his nose. I would say that's Native American. And the base of the deck, Run to Freedom, number 36. All right, let's get some information from the book to see what these mean to close us out for this reading, pile number 1. But I think what is changing for you is that you are going to have a huge growth moment. This coming away of whatever it is that you currently believe, either about yourself or about others or both, is going to let in a huge amount of positive energy and a renewed zeal for living and renewed joy in the way that you look at things. Then we have Dawn Watcher number 13, respect the need for protection and loyalty. On a quiet, misty morning, a loyal member of the herd looks over the camp to keep his tribe safe. He is the protector of all who he serves. He waits patiently and softly for any signs of danger or disruption. Sometimes we need to be the lone wolf or the single head member who protects the greater whole. You may have dedicated your life to the protection of others. Your loyalty goes deep, and you do not mind being the guardian or the watcher on the outer edges of the family and community. Yet sometimes we need another to look over us, to protect us from what we cannot see or understand. Protection provides a sense of security so that we can relax and tend to what life asks of us. Without the feeling of safety, we are always on high alert, wondering what we will have to deal with next. No single horse survives in the wild alone. Each needs the other. One can sleep, another seeks food, while the other watches over. Every horse has their role in a herd, and these roles can change. Some create safety and opportunity for others to grow and thrive. Yeah, so I feel like this speaks to needing people around you. Like I said over here with the Fool, he's got his little dog with him, which represents loyalty. I feel that you have some really beautiful, loyal people in your life already, and that also this changing of perspective is going to bring more people into your life that will be loyal and that will treat you well. I think removing judgments and looking at situations without projecting our preconceived notions into them is something that will allow you to open up and to connect with more people. You're no longer looking at things from a cynical point of view, and that's, again, whether you are the one doing the judging or you're the one being judged. I feel like either way, if you change that perspective, that then allows for all of these new exciting connections to come in, all of this new energy to come pouring in, and for you to not feel as though you need to always be watching your back with other people, because very much, again, whether you're making the judgments or you're on the receiving end of them, it's impossible to trust people if that's how you're feeling one way or the other. So I feel that that is very much something that is going to change. You will start to find out who your tribe is, who you're loyal to, who is loyal to you, and everybody else. You're not going to be focused on them any further. You're going to just be focused on yourself and what is in your best interests and what beautiful, wonderful things you can do for you. And now lastly, Run to Freedom. This is a really beautiful card. Recognize your authentic calling. Gorgeous way to wrap this up. They are collected, in sync, and on a mission. There is unison in their movement toward their goal. As a team, they are in harmony and know their place on earth. They understand what they are here to do and how they will do it together. The threesome of horses moving with such grace emulates true authenticity, the knowing of oneself. Do you have a calling? These 3 horses highlight that there may be a more significant way for you to contribute to humanity, the land, animals, or the creator. Often a calling can be something that bothers us so greatly that we need to take action and create a solution. It may be to provide meals or shelter for the homeless, clean up toxic waste on the planet, or rescue abandoned and abused animals. At other times, our calling comes to us through a visceral response in our bodies. We watch wild horses racing across the desert and are overwhelmed with emotion. We witness the process of birth or death and feel transcended. It is different for every person. Part of recognizing our calling is coming back to our absolute true self. We realize what our spirit needs to do to feel fulfilled. Then we are off running with the others to fully express our aliveness and contribute to the greater whole. Yeah, guys, so I feel like that is just a really lovely way of saying what we've said in this reading previously, is that changing your perspective on humanity and connecting with humans as a whole is going to be the thing that unlocks all of this new energy coming into your life, and that even may be that it extends to the point that you actually do, like what I'd said, with all the renewed joy, renewed excitement, renewed faith, renewed hope, that you actually do feel that it allows for a calling to come to you, and you do feel very much pulled in the direction of something that then ends up feeling like it's destined, feeling like it was your calling, feeling like it's what you're here to do. But it's going to be an opportunity for you to really just look at the world very differently from how you have so far. And that is going to be such a freeing feeling in and of itself. As I said, your energy is no longer going to be poured into focusing on what other people are doing, thinking, saying. You're going to be unleashing all of that energy into creative endeavors, exciting new opportunities, and something that may very much feel as though you have found your calling and your sole purpose on this earth. So pile number one, that was a really beautiful reading. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please hit the like button. Share if you think it'll resonate with someone else. Comment if you want to share with me how it did or even didn't resonate. And subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I might see you in another pile, or I might see you in another reading. Hi there, my pile number two. If you selected this card, number 26, Dancing on Terra, and or you selected the green adventurine, then you are my gorgeous pile number two. And we're going to jump into this reading by checking with the book for the meaning for Dancing on Terra. I'm not particularly familiar with these cards, and there's quite a lot of information in there, so I would prefer to give you the whole thing. Dancing on Terra Firma, ride the wave of uncertainty with awareness. Okay, interesting. The world around us can sometimes shift so suddenly or violently that it leaves you feeling unstable and unbalanced. You lose your sense of footing and grounding on Mother Earth. It may be a disruption in the family, a relationship, a job, an organization, or the country. It may be the environmental influences, health concerns, or political uprising. Regardless of the extreme event, the effects on the inner self are highly destabilizing. Everything seems out of control and is moving so fast that you do not even feel you can respond to the changing external environment. All right, so you'll very much know pile number two if you are meant to be here or not. This feels like the Tower moment of the tarot, but in this oracle. So if you have been feeling really unsettled by what's been going on with the events around you, all of the things that are in the news, this is a timeless reading. But I also feel like there isn't a time now that we're not going to see negative and stressful and scary events in the news. It just seems to be the way that the world is going. So I don't think that will change. But if you've been feeling like it's difficult to sleep at night and your world is being destabilized by either what is happening on a bigger scale, a world picture scale, or even just what is happening for you at home, then this is your pile. This time calls for the skill to ride the wave of uncertainty and keep your eyes wide open. As much as you might wish to make quick, impulsive decisions so that you can feel solid inside yourself again, this is not the time to do so. Sometimes it is important to feel the significant internal discomfort caused by upheaval to find the diamond in the dirt. Consider your next steps with great awareness and rationality. You will get them through this time of unrest and things will calm down again. During these moments when the life you have cultivated seems to be threatened by the outside environment, you need to have the highest degree of internal neutrality and tend to your inner landscape. Do not allow the consciousness of others, your partners, or the masses to influence your feelings or choices. The most decisive leader in a herd is the horse who can be terrified of changing circumstances, but keeps calm until the environment has settled. Others in the herd seek guidance from members who can maintain their inner strength. You are being asked to find deep inner strength at this time. Okay, pile number 2. I feel that there has been obviously a big shift in circumstances, be they personal or that you are just really frightened of the world at large. What you see on the news, what's going on with society today, and that is really causing you to stress and feel a great deal of overwhelm and also a lot of panic. And I think that this reading is what is changing for you. This reading is getting across to you that what is going to be changing in this situation is you. That you will be, and maybe pile number 1 might resonate potentially if it did go over and have a little look, but I feel that your perceptions are going to be what is changing. Pile number 2, you are going to, if you're someone who is very impulsive, very reactive, has a tendency to burn a bridge easily, or say in terms of cutting someone off because you no longer want to have anything to do with them, or leaving a job very suddenly, someone who doesn't have much trouble in the way of getting rid of something in a panic, in a hurry, in a knee-jerk reaction, because it makes them feel better in the moment and then potentially realizes afterwards that maybe they should have done things differently. I feel that what is changing for you, pile number 2, is that you are going to start doing things differently. You're going to start looking at the world from a different point of view and maintaining your neutrality, holding on to a sense of balance and calm so that you can actually be the ship that brings yourself and possibly even your family, maybe even friends, out of this storm. It might be that you end up being the person that, instead of seeming frazzled and overwhelmed and stressed out and overburdened, is the person that comes across as the most calm, and that people start to turn to for a silver lining or to get some calm in the storm. We're going to grab some tarot. Judgment. Yes, being called to do things differently. They're rising up from the dead. So I feel that Judgment is a beautiful card to come up. It's also number 20. I didn't really read out numbers in the last reading, but that just being a major arcana, yeah, you have the opportunity to rise above a situation and to be able to look at it with a different perception. You are able to judge the situations that are going on and start to triage things to a degree, I guess, triage your worries. So starting to look at the world from a point of view of what can I change, what can I contribute, what can I reasonably control about this circumstance that is occurring for me. And if you realize that there is something you can do, you can start taking steps toward doing it. But if you start to realize that it's a situation where you hold no control, so for example, and this is just an example, but again, if number 1 calls to you, this example will resonate very much as well. What other people think about you. There is only so much that you can control when it comes to what other people think about you, because you could be polite, you could be well kept, you could be intelligent, and you are still going to come across someone who judges you for something. You could be the nicest person on the planet and there will be someone who thinks that you're not. So something like, for example, what people think of you. There is a limit to how much you can control what they think. You can make yourself look nice before you leave the house. You can use your manners. You can be kind to people, so you reduce the risk of people thinking you're untidy, you're uncouth, you're unkind, but you can't stop them from having other judgments or other opinions about you. So using that as an example, pile number 2, I feel like what is going to change is the way that you actually look at your environment and who you are, where you are, what you can control, and that you will start taking measured steps towards doing what you can to relieve or reduce a situation, but you will also start to lose some of the panic and the anxiety around what you can't change. Yeah, Ace of Swords, a new thought process, a new way of thinking is coming in. New ways of just looking at things, which when you start thinking differently, obviously that changes the way you feel. So yeah, new ways of thinking and feeling about what is going on around you. And it might even be that when you do bring that panic level down, you are able to see that things aren't too bad. So say, for example, if you're someone who does get very caught up in the news and what's going on in the world, and you're finding that you aren't able to sleep at night, you're very stressed, deliberately putting on some good news and actually realizing that there are some really wonderful things going on the planet at this point in time in 2026 right now when this reading is being done. And we've got the Ace of Cups. So yeah, a beautiful new feeling, emotion coming in, something that's going to leave you feeling overflowing and overjoyed. So pile number 2, I feel that when you start looking at the world differently and maybe start seeking out good news instead of bad news, maybe whatever is happening for you, if it's actually something that is at home or close to you, like very close to your heart, so a relationship feeling like it's going south, or a job feeling like it's not going well, whatever it is that you are feeling very traumatized by at this point in time, what is going to change is your attitude and feeling towards this situation or situations, and you are going to start to find a place of comfort and balance that you are able to access within, a new way of looking and thinking and feeling about the world, and that is going to bring in beautiful, joyous, new emotion to your life and into your heart. So I just want to grab another couple more from this deck. There we go. Beautiful, yeah. The Hierophant. So an authority or a leader in this space, and the Page of Cups. Someone coming in with a message, with some news, with a gift for you. So I feel my pile number 2, it may be that you need to seek out somebody that is above you in some sort of way. So in the way of an authority in the matter. So it could be, even could be your mum or dad, that they're more experienced and more adultier than you are in this life. It could be your really positive, upbeat best friend. It could be your coordinator at work. It could be your partner. It could be anybody. But this is going to be a very hard change to make completely by yourself if you're someone who is very prone to fear, negative ways of thinking, being a bit of a pessimist, and focusing more on the bad news in the world than the good, or just seeing situations as being very dire. Someone who maybe isn't really adept at change. So on the one hand, as I said earlier, you could be someone who cuts people off in a hurry, acts very impulsively, but then is really only reacting to something in their environment actually changing. So maybe it feels like work's suddenly going downhill, or you've been fighting a whole lot with your friends and family or with your partner. This is not an easy pattern of behavior and way of thinking to change. So I definitely feel like this is a situation that you may need to seek out someone's help to encourage you to look at life differently, and even just to share your burdens with as well. Someone who can reassure you when you let them know that you're scared of this thing or that thing. They can give you some advice, they can give you some insight, which is what I feel is happening over here with the Page of Cups. I feel like once you seek this person out, they are going to bring you in a fresh new way of looking at things, and especially with the Page as well, representing youth. I see this as being like a youthful, new way of looking at things. It might be that you're feeling really jaded about everything that's going on, and someone does introduce you to a video of all the wonderful things that have taken place in the last year, and you just really see the world from a different point of view. But this could even refer to as well seeking out good news. As I said earlier, it could be that you, instead of actually going to somebody in person that you know of in terms of getting some advice, it could be that you actually start looking up things on the internet so you can get that advice for free, but from people who know what they're talking about. So for example, today I noticed that someone had a really great suggestion of things such as EMDR therapy. I'm pretty sure it's in that order. Somatic healing and sound healing, and that these things can all be looked up for free on YouTube, and they all work. Oh, and Reiki. I think it's Reiki. I'm forever saying that wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But yeah, so it could even be that you decide to look up ways to encourage positive thinking, ways to reduce anxiety, how to curb impulsiveness or impulsivity. So I feel, my gorgeous pile number 2, that what is going to be changing for you is you. It's going to be the way that you look at the world, the way you react to things, the decisions that you make moving forward, or the steps that you take before you go making a decision. and that you are going to seek out more information, and you are going to start looking at the world with a much more positive point of view. Good news is coming in, and your heart is going to be left feeling like it's pouring over with emotion in a really positive, beautiful way. I'm going to read from the Lightseers deck now to get you some more information, pile number 2, on what is going to be changing for you. Okay, you two really want to come out. Ace of Cups, gorgeous. This is the second reading that the Lightseers has doubled up on some of the cards here. But see this beautiful heart gift, this gorgeous new feeling radiating from her heart. Interesting. And the Five of Swords. So he is struggling and looking a bit burdened and like he's got some regrets. And this guy over here looks like he's made it to the mountain. Interestingly, it looks like there's blood going on down here. I don't know if that's just me and just what I think, but it looks like he's had to struggle to get to where he is. And he is left with only this one blackbird or this one crow on his shoulder. The other 4 have flown away. So yeah, this is something that I think is going to take some work. It's not going to change overnight. As I said with the Hierophant, you're going to have to seek out some help to be able to bring these changes about for yourself. But we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is so beautiful because she has got everything she wants. She is so happy, and she has her bird, and she has all of her pentacles, and she has this basket here with a pentacle and all these beautiful herbs and flowers in it. So she is able to relax and enjoy herself and enjoy the spoils of her labor and everything that she has brought in for herself in this lifetime. So I feel that things, if they feel really hard and burdensome right now, pile number 2, that is not going to be forever. And what is changing is that things are going to start to pick up. It will be easier for you to judge what situations need your involvement, your energy, your judgment or opinions, and what situations can just be left to resolve themselves or don't need to be worried about by you right now today. And the Ace of Swords, which again is another, this one jumped out, another replicating card. So yeah, your way of thinking, you might feel that at the moment you're someone who really spirals and just goes around and around in their head, thinking about things that are worrying them, thinking about what's going wrong. These mathematical equations here remind me so much of the Julia Roberts meme where she's just staring at the whiteboard and there's all of the mathematics on it, and it's someone just completely brain farting at what they usually understand. I feel that this is saying that this overwhelm that you experience, this panic, this anxiety, is going to be broken through. You are going to find a way out of negative thought patterns and looking solely at the bad side of life, seeing a situation as being broken or cursed or unable to be repaired or moved out of. This feeling of loss and like it's such a struggle to just get up to, and that doesn't even really look like he's on a mountain. It looks like he's on a bit of a hill. So just to get a little bit further than where you're already at, I feel like that is what's going to start to change for you, pile number 2. You're going to start to really look at the world from a different point of view and really just focus on what brings joy into your heart, what makes your heart light up, and remove your point of view from everything that is going wrong. And when you start doing some things for yourself, things that might be advised by someone that you know, or things that might be advised by someone that you seek out, whether it's online or in the real world, it's going to help you change your perspective and really slow right down and make better choices. And even if you are still going through a really terrible time, the slowing down and making better choices will help get you to faster. It will help get you to happier times a lot faster. You won't be caught up dealing with these difficulties forever and a day because of that whole saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you have always done things a certain way up till now, what is changing is the way that you're going to do things. And in doing that, it is going to bring in some really good news, something new, a lot of excitement, and a lot of emotional joy and stability. And the new way of thinking here with the Ace of Swords replicated, you're going to have a new way of looking at the world around you. I just want one more, please, Spirit. Okay. Gorgeous, the High Priestess. So yeah, tapping into your intuition, trusting your gut, starting to feel like you are capable, you are worthy, you are able to manage whatever situations life is throwing at you, whether it is actually in your personal life or world events at large, or maybe it's even both. Oftentimes when things are feeling very difficult in our personal life, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed by the news and by the negative that we do see, and I guess vice versa. If everything in the bigger, wider world is overwhelming you and causing you distress and to feel awful, then it's easy to start feeling down on your personal relationships and where you're at with the people that are in your life. So I feel like tapping into your intuition, starting to feel more divinely guided in the decisions that you make, no longer feeling like you need to do something in a reactive way, but you are able to stop and take a breath and tap into your intuition, call in what it is that you're feeling in your gut, and start slowing down to make decisions in a more reasonable, measured, and much more wise kind of way. Pile number 2, that is what's changing for you. The abilities that you have to do things very differently from how you are currently doing them. I'm going to grab now a couple of cards from the Horse Wisdom deck to close this reading out. Yeah, my gorgeous pile number 2, I feel that you are going to start to change the way that you look at the world because it's no longer working for you. Or maybe you're sick to death of being anxious and in a spiral and thoughts locked up in fear. Very, very interesting. Dawn Watcher, again, number 13. So we did have this again in pile number 1. Gorgeous pile number 2. Not to twist your arm, but I see some definite correlations between the two messages. Can't tell you about pile 3 and 4 because I haven't done them yet. And we will read from the book for these as well. And I've literally forgotten what it means from reading it in the last reading. But yeah, pile number 2, you are going to start to view the world very differently. I feel that, yeah, what is changing is that you're tired of the way that you see things now and you want things to be different. You're tired of worry. You're tired of stress. You're tired of suffering. Interesting. Pride, number 20. You're tired of spiraling thoughts. Maybe you are someone who is prone to catastrophizing, and you wish for that to stop. And what is changing is that you are going to take control of your situation so that you can feel better prepared for dealing with everything else. So number 13, Dawn Watcher, respect the need for protection and loyalty. On a quiet, misty morning, a loyal member of the herd looks over the camp to keep his tribe safe. He is the protector of all who he serves. He waits patiently and softly for any signs of danger or disruption. Sometimes we need to be the lone wolf or the single head member who protects the greater whole. You may have dedicated your life to the protection of others. Your loyalty goes deep and you do not mind being the guardian or the watcher on the outer edges of the family and community. And that makes sense with this card up here. You are likely the stress head of the family, community, group, workplace, wherever it might be. You're the person who takes the responsibility for protecting others and watching out for them and keeping an eye on what's going on. And when you're that person, it is extremely easy to get caught up in constant worries and fears about how things are going to go, not just for yourself, but for the people that you love. Yet sometimes we need another to look over us to protect us from what we cannot see or understand. Protection provides a sense of security so we can relax and tend to what life asks of us. Without the feeling of safety, we are always on high alert, wondering what we will have to deal with next. No single horse survives in the wild alone. Each needs the other. One can sleep, another seeks food, while the other watches over. Every horse has their role in the herd, and these roles can change. Some create safety and opportunity for others to grow and thrive. Yeah, so pile number 2, I feel that in you reassessing the situations around you and the way that you're thinking about them, you're actually going to allow for people to come in and to start to make you feel safe, to start to make you feel secure. It's not going to be all on your shoulders, even if it's only in your own mind that you need to protect everyone from everything or you need to protect yourself. I think that in starting to take a step back and calm your mind, calm your thoughts, calm the impulse to be erratic and do something in a hurry, cut someone off, leave a situation, go to ground, or do something very excessive, any of those things that you might typically do when you are dealing with situations and you are reacting to them. In calming that side of yourself down, I feel that you are definitely going to open the door for someone to come in and feel like they can advise you, they can show you the way, they can make you feel safe and secure in this situation, and someone who is going to bring in a gift. And that gift could just be the gift of you feeling safe and protected from the world around you and what you are currently experiencing. It could even be someone who puts a political matter in perspective for you, or helps you to see something that's going on in the wider world differently than you currently are. And now we have number 20. I don't know why, but in the book it's listed as number 19. That's a mistake. Number 20, guys. Pride. Learn to honor yourself and increase your self-worth. I love this as a way to finish off this reading. Pride throws her head and lifts her leg to take her next step forward. Confident and bold, she knows who she is. But she did not always feel this way, and I feel like that has come full circle from this card over here. So being scared, worried, intimidated, frightened, impulsive, reactive, to coming to a point where you do know your own mind, you do know who you are, you have come to know yourself as someone who is very strong, someone who is very secure, someone who does what they can to change what bothers them and is out there being the change that they want to see, but is also able to let go of the judgment of other situations and allow themselves to see the good in the world as much as they still are able to see the negative. You are someone who is really now able to see the positive as well. So, it took her time to find her true stride and sense of self. She needed to integrate self-respect and balance. I love that. How she expressed herself. Yeah, and balance how she expressed herself. Pride discovered that she did not have to try too hard, but needed to be proud of who she was and what she did. And I love that. And even finding balance in the way that you express yourself. So as I've said, maybe you are someone who speaks your mind very openly and then kind of wishes that they had have actually held back on some of what they had to say, or that you just blurt something out angrily because you are not taking a beat to process what someone has said, or to have a response that is less combative, or that isn't going to create further conflict. Maybe you rush to cut people off, as I've said a number of times now, and then you kind of wish that you hadn't, and that maybe you had have just heard them out, or you had taken longer to make that decision. So I feel that that is very much what is changing for you, my pile number 2. In the human world, many people experience imposter syndrome. I definitely know that. Hands up for that. I feel that strongly. They continuously push themselves to higher and higher standards, harboring a deep feeling of incompetence. They compensate by doing more and more, trying to prove their worth. And I feel like that goes back to what I said about you starting to take some time to really assess what you can control in the situation, and when you can't control something, allowing yourself to actually let that go instead of trying to. Oftentimes with anxiety, one of the things that we are doing is over and over again in our heads trying to predict a situation so that we can already prepare ourselves mentally for that situation when it arises. And in actual fact, so few of those situations that we have sat there and actually created in our minds and anxiously worried over and replayed 100 different times trying to think about how we would best manage it, they don't come to fruition. It never occurs. A lot of our worries are things that, I mean, there's certainly things to be worried about in this world, but for the most part, especially when you're someone who suffers from anxiety, and especially if you also suffer from imposter syndrome, and the two usually go hand in hand, you will definitely understand what it feels like to constantly be creating conversations in your head, or arguments, or situations where you feel that things are going to go wrong and you need to get out in front of that by overthinking it and trying to stop it from happening before it even can. So that is going to start to change for you, my beautiful pile number 2. You are going to start to release some of this fear to the universe, to whatever it is that you find that actually helps you to change this way of thinking. Striving and over-delivering can lead to exhaustion and an even deeper sense of failing to meet the mark. Pride suggests a rebalancing of your relationship with yourself. Really comes right back to this one here. She wants you to learn to accept your imperfections. It may be time to step back, celebrate your accomplishments, and stop pushing so hard. So yeah, definitely time to stop worrying about what's going wrong and start focusing on what is going right. And I feel that if you do that, pile number 2, you will be aware that there is so much more going right in your life than what there is things that are going wrong. It may be a time to step back, celebrate your accomplishments and stop pushing so hard. Your true sense of self-worth comes from the quality of your relationship with yourself. It is seldom fulfilled by how much you strive or do for others. Pride suggests that you learn to toss your head with joy and self-assurance, knowing that who you are is more than enough. And I love that with the 2 aces of cups here, with allowing yourself to feel joy. I very much feel my pile number 2, what is changing for you is that you are tired of being stuck in a loop of overthinking, stressing, worrying, and then reacting to each and every situation that comes your way, and possibly even the circumstances of those reactions, how it ends up leaving you. So I feel like what is changing is the way that you look at yourself, the way that you look at the world, and the ways in which you allow your trauma or events that have occurred for you, your past, to trigger you into ways of being that you wouldn't otherwise want to be. So pile number 2, this is a really, really beautiful reading. Again, I'll quickly say it one more time. Pile 1 might resonate, but I feel that this is really that what is changing is you, my pile number 2. What is changing is you for the better, and that you will come out of this time and space a much more grounded, much more calm, much more neutral and balanced person, and that you will really start to take joy in who that person is, and that you will have a lot of respect for yourself. You will have a lot of pride in yourself, and you will draw that to you as well with the people that are around you, because like attracts like, and the more you respect yourself, the more you tend to earn the respect of others. So pile number 2, I love that. If you did too, please hit the like button. Comment if you want to share how it resonated, or even if you want to share how it didn't. If you hung around that long, if it didn't resonate, that's a curious way to spend your time, but who am I to judge? Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much if you have. Share if you think it'll resonate with someone else. And I think we've covered all the things. So I might see you in another reading. I might see you in another pile here, or I might see you in another reading. Hello there, my gorgeous pile number 3. If you chose this card, number 8, Shanti or Shanti, depending on how you pronounce it, then you are my pile number 3, or you chose the Chevron Amethyst. Sorry, I should have thrown that in before. If you chose either of these or both of these, then you are my pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So I'm going to start out by reading from the book to get you the meaning of Shanti, and that will also be a bit of an energy check-in for you to decide if this is your pile, if this resonates. Find inner peace during cycles of change. Change is the only constant. Cycles and seasons come and go. You won't find a horse resisting natural change that it cannot control. Shanti, a bold paint mare, embraces peace as she gracefully accepts the natural transitions in life. She stands collected as aging leaves dance and swirl around her. Torn from the mother tree, they are on their journey of decay. Shanti intuitively understands that there is a beginning, a middle, and an end to all aspects of life. She embraces the natural progression of all experiences. Shanti watches change as people, places, and things come and go, but never abandons her inner self in the process. She knows that the one constant in her life is her relationship and connection to herself. At this time, you may need to accept current or upcoming changes. Some things have reached their end, or the cycle is finished. Sometimes it can be hard to let go and trust the process. It may also be a time to grieve what is complete. Remember that change can shape you and deepen you into a greater appreciation of life's complexities. Find your peace and celebrate what was. So pile number 3, possibly 1 or 2 might resonate, but I feel that this has a bit of a different energy to it in the way that we're sitting here asking what is changing for you. And the card that I've pulled out is all about things are changing for you. So whatever is changing for you currently, I feel that you may already be aware of it. It could possibly be a relationship, a workplace, a living situation, a project, something that you feel is either not going that well and it is starting to come to an end, or it could even be your relationship with yourself. Maybe you have been really working on yourself and your ways of previously looking at things and doing things is changing, but quite possibly it's something that's actually very much in the real world, and feels very discernible. So we'll pull some tarot to get some more information for you, pile number 3. But yeah, what is changing for you is that something is changing for you. So we'll ask Spirit to clarify through the tarot, see if we can get some more information on what it is that is actually changing for you, what that situation might be, that circumstance, that way of thinking. We'll see what cards come out. Okay, interesting. The 10 of Wands, very much overburdened, and I always see this as the pushing shit uphill card. Even though he's not walking up a hill, the way that he's carrying those sticks in front of him, he is not able to see anything but his burden at this point in time, and he is very burdened. He's doing a lot of hard work. He's carrying those sticks, and I'm not going to read reversals. We've got the 7 of Cups, so there's also having a lot of things on offer at the moment. I feel like almost too much. There is too much going on for you right now, pile number 3, and I feel like what is changing is that you are going to start to get some reprieve from all of this hard work that you've been doing, and what can seem like endless opportunities over here, which feels like a nice problem to have until you have it. Maybe there are just too many things that you are having to focus on at this point in time, yeah, and you're feeling very pulled in 2 directions here with the Chariot. But I feel like what is changing for you, my pile number 3, is that you are going to start to get a clearer picture of what it is that you need to let go of, and of these options and opportunities that you have over here, what it is that you need to focus on, so you no longer feel like you are so overburdened and carrying the load for everybody else. So it might even be that what is starting to change for you is that you stop running around so much for other people, that you start focusing internally on what is important for you and what you need to feed your soul and to bring happiness about for yourself. Judgment, yeah, that flipped and did a little backflip in my deck. That really wanted to come out. That was also in pile number 2, incidentally. But yeah, I feel like what is changing for you, pile number 3, is that you are going to start to feel more focused on what it is that you want to do and what brings you joy, and whatever is changing for you and moving out of your life, you are not going to try to cling to it. I feel that you are going to actually allow it to go, even if it's difficult. So even if it is something that you really loved and had a lot of feeling towards, yeah, the Hanged Man, you are not going to hang around focusing on this thing anymore. You're going to start to feel quite inspired in the way that you look at things, and you will look at things and judge things with a different perspective. So I feel that whatever ending is coming in for you, and there's not a lot here. We've got the 3 major arcana here, so it definitely feels like something that is actually very meaningful to you and in your life. It's no small thing. It's something that you hold very dear and has been a big part of your life. It's still something, like, I'm not seeing a lot of pentacles, so I don't know if it's a very earthly thing. I think this might be even more of a feeling that you have, just feeling very overburdened, feeling very, very tied down. And whatever it is that's causing that is not particularly clear to me. I can't see if that's a relationship or if that's a job, but I feel that you have a number of competing responsibilities, pile number 3, and you have been trying to be everything to everyone, and that is what is starting to tear you down, and that is potentially what is changing for you, that you start to look at your world differently, or, as I said, if there's an actual situation that's ending, you're coming to the end of a job, you have just left a relationship or someone has left you, you are going to, what is changing is that you're going to look at it differently from how you have before, and you are going to be able to see the new beginning in the situation that is occurring, instead of just being focused solely on the ending of this situation. And again, it could be the way that you feel about yourself, the way that you look at the world, maybe your thought process about things ending and even about change is something that is changing, and you're starting to accept that change is an inevitable part of life, And what is changing is that you are no longer fighting change. That you are very aware that you are the driving force in your life and that you can make the decisions as to what to give your attention to and what to allow, like the leaves on the trees over here, what you allow to break off, float away and come to an end, whether you actually, and we don't always see where the leaves end up when they come off the tree. So maybe it's even just an acceptance of you don't have to have closure for every situation. You don't have to know how things are going to end up. You can look at life from a different point of view. You don't need to be caught up, hanging around, waiting to see how something turns out before you're able to move on to something new. You can let things go. So I feel like pile number 3, what is changing is your attitudes to how you actually deal with change, ironically enough, and how you deal with the loss of something, how you move on from that, how you find a new beginning in that situation. Okay, well, that's too many. I'm going to take you. Temperance, yeah, beautiful. Actually, I've got 4 here, so I will take all 4 of you. Temperance, they're all about balance. And seeing, I love these angel wings that are faintly on in his shoulder, being able to see the good in situations, seeing where even when things feel like they're going wrong or you're losing something, there are gifts. There is this beautiful new beginning over here with this Temperance card. And then we've got the 10 of Wands. So again, that's very interesting. This is the 3rd reading now where these cards have replicated themselves. Not these ones specifically, but in each pile there's been a replication. So again, the 10 of Wands, this feeling of burden. But over here in this 10 of Wands, as opposed to this one where this guy is very much alone and carrying the burden by himself, this woman has help from, I think it's her yak or a bullock, I'm really not too sure. But she's coming down the hill. She's back now on the downhill journey and no longer pushing shit uphill. She does have help. She's not carrying the whole burden by herself. 7 of Pentacles, putting in the work for something that is really long-lasting and is going to grow into something really fortuitous, something really abundant, planting that tree from the seeds of the tree that is dormant, that has now lost all of its leaves and seems like it is dead. It's actually just dormant, and while you have been watching over the situation, you've not been aware that it's been growing all of it. Like it looks like just this little tiny tree, but unbeknownst to you, there's all these beautiful pentacles that have grown in the earth while it seemed like this tree was dormant. So there's new beginnings happening. And the Ace of Pentacles, that's really beautiful. A new gift coming in, a new opportunity. And this is the real world card that I was looking for. Something tangible, something like a new job, money coming in somehow, the birth of a new project. But it's very much about material matters, manifesting something really positive and new for yourself. So pile number 3, I very much feel like what is changing for you is whatever is weighing you down right now is actually going to start to remove itself from your life, or you're going to start to look at it very differently so that it no longer weighs you down. But you will start to find that there is help out there for you. You're not completely alone in a situation. That I just threw all of the cards all across the room. That was not a shuffle. Okay, yeah, so you are going to start to look at life and look at your challenges, look at the changes, look at the cycles as more of a gift, and that you will feel clearer about the opportunities that you have and the choices that you need to make. What is changing for you is you're not going to feel this overwhelm of too many competing things coming at you all at once, and you will allow those leaves to float away, drift away, blow away, and you will just focus on pouring your intention and your energy into something here that is going to just one single thing that is going to actually grow and create abundance. It's going to be fertile. So I feel like what is changing for you, my pile number 3, is that you're able to see the new beginning in the ending of whatever is ending for you right now. And that you're not going to take this ending as hard as maybe you have previously. Your attitude to this ending is going to be very flexible, very comfortable in where you're at, and that it is going to help solidify what is actually available to you, what is open for you to come and pour your energy into. So I just want one more, please, Spirit. Gorgeous, the Six of Cups. And yeah, he's pouring his energy into this little puppy. And then as he's grown older with his little puppy, the puppy has turned into a dog. And he's looking back over the time that he has spent with him. He's feeling nostalgic. So I feel like you are going to, and it even sort of makes me think of this, where we've got everything laid out ahead of him, and now we have the cups all neatly in a row leading down from here to here. So I think that what is going to change for you, pile number 3, is that you are going to be able to look back on whatever it is that is ending for you now with nostalgia, with gratitude, with a feeling of love and possibly sadness. I know that he would definitely be feeling sad that his dog is no longer the little puppy that it used to be, and now he is getting older, he's probably slowed down. He might be having some difficulties. So I think that there is definitely sadness for whatever is ending, pile number 3. But what you are experiencing, whatever you're experiencing now, I think what is changing for you is that you are going to look back on this ending, whatever it actually is, as being something that is really positive. It's created a new beginning. It's allowed for something new that you wouldn't have considered before, something that you would not have had on your radar or on your focus. It's going to bring that in. And it might be a bit slow going. It may not be something that materializes very quickly, because this feels like a very slow moving pile over here. But what is changing for you is you are going to have more assurity in and of your own self that something good is coming in, and that this ending is actually creating a new beginning for you, pile number 3. So I'm going to grab a couple more cards from the Horse Wisdom Oracle, and I've noticed this reading is a lot shorter than the last 2 piles, so I feel like maybe your message just came through a lot more quickly. But what is changing for you is that you are no longer going to fear change, pile number 3, that you are going to be able to focus on the new that is coming in, and that you are going to really understand that whatever is ending is going to bring about a new beginning. It's not something to be feared. It's not even something to be focused on. And I feel that you have really been struggling with something here with the 2 Ten of Wands cards. So I feel like whatever it is that you have really been struggling with, that is what is coming to the end for you, pile number 3. And it's by ending, it's allowing a new beginning to come in, and something that is going to be abundant, but you can just focus on this thing wholly and solely. You're not going to feel pulled in a million directions and like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Okay, so number 31, spooked. Interesting. People can definitely be spooked at the idea of change. Maybe what's changing for you is that you will no longer feel spooked by the prospect of something happening. But we will read from the book for these ones. Okay. And Desert Barb, very interesting. I have no idea what that means. Number 18. Okay, let's see what we've got to close your reading out here. Pile number 3. So number 31, spooked. Regain neutrality when change comes out of nowhere. Okay, well that's very, very perfect. So yes, what is changing for you, pile number 3, is that change is no longer going to spook you. I actually nailed that one. You are able, again, seeing these little birds makes me think about new beginnings. There's obviously been, it looks like, I'm not sure if that's dust or if there's been a fire. But this reminds me very much of that saying, the bird doesn't trust the branch. The bird trusts its wings. So in other words, the bird knows that the branch could break at any time, but it will always be able to fly to save itself from that branch breaking. So yeah, I feel pile number 3 that what is changing for you is that change is going to start to get a whole lot less scary, and you are going to start really embracing it and feeling comfortable with it and allowing it into your life and seeing the bigger picture and what is to come for you once the dust clears from the change itself. So a black and white paint horse is crossing an arid landscape when he dramatically spooks as two small birds burst upward out of the brush unexpectedly. He loses his sense of place and consciousness and immediately responds to his primal instincts. He moves into a flight reaction, ensuring that he removes himself from any danger that could compromise his well-being or cause injury. Every path has moments of unexpected events where one can feel spooked or suddenly wholly ungrounded. It could be something small or something more grandiose. It does not matter the size of the event. What matters is how it can affect you. Some surprises affect us more dramatically than others, and maybe you have a really good reason for being fearful of change. Maybe you have been through a really rough trot and things have been very unstable and very uncertain for a while, but I feel like what is changing for you is, even if that's the case, you're going to just learn to move through it and move with it and let go of the fear of things ending and just allow for natural endings to occur and continue to have an optimistic and positive attitude that whatever is ending is going to be bringing a new beginning, and that new beginning has the opportunity to be better. Recognizing when these sudden events take you off your course or distract you is essential. They might feel black and white. You might think you were in one place, but now you are not. You can seize that moment and take the opportunity to collect yourself. Bring your awareness back to your mind to control your gut reactions and gain more neutrality. Then you can make more rational, conscious, and transparent choices about how to handle the situation. So guys, I do feel like number 2 might resonate. If it did, go back and check it out. But yeah, I feel like what is changing here is that you are starting to find your balance. You are starting to allow yourself with the neutrality, allow yourself to, as I said, just see something end and let it go. Not need to fight for closure, not need to get an explanation, not need to chase someone or something down until you can understand why and what has changed, but to feel more balanced within yourself. Again, here with the Chariot and the dark and light, feeling the duality of situations, but feeling very much in control over your own emotions and your reactions and the judgments that you make that allow you to make the decisions that you do. So seeing things from a different point of view. And now number 18, the Desert Barb. Be solid with yourself and care a little less about what others may think. Very interesting. That reminds me of pile number 1, I've got to say. Being 100% true to yourself requires a tremendous amount of tenacity. Desert Barb moves across the arid mounds of sand with great strides and gestures. He is unapologetic about who he is and what he chooses to do. Stepping into authentic expression does not always guarantee intimacy with others. Sometimes it creates the opposite. Being big, flashy, unique, brave, gregarious, flamboyant, or possessing a healthy sense of self might be a strong mirror for others. Yeah, number 1 talked a lot about mirrors with other people, so if that does resonate, go check it out. They may not like to see where they are not being true to themselves. The reflection might highlight their self-abandonment, which may cause a strong reaction in judging, ignoring, criticizing, or downplaying you. Their projection is about them. It is about how they have deserted their true self to fulfill the expectations of others. Desert Barb suggests you do not apologize for who you are, avoid modifying your behavior or shrinking so others can feel better. He encourages you to ignore or care a little less about how others respond to you. Allow the higher vibration of your true self to mirror others where they have abandoned themselves. Be clear that it is their work and healing to do. He is not suggesting you be careless or rude to others. What is most important is how you feel and think about yourself. Be real and solid within yourself. Okay, and that reminds me of what I said here about the birds and trusting the branch. Sorry, not trusting the branch, but trusting their wings. I feel that what is changing, my gorgeous pile number 3s, is that you are going to really start to look at the world differently. And I feel like I've said this in both pile 1 and 2, that what is changing is your perspective and how you're managing things. And I feel like with this card here too, I kind of thought about it as I was reading this one out. This feels almost like a people-pleasing card. Like he's carrying all of the wants. He's doing all of the work. He's not even really able to see what it is that he's going to achieve because he's got the forest for the trees situation going on here where his wands are his whole entire focus. And I feel that you are going to start to realize that it is not your job to carry the burdens of everybody else. It's not up to you to worry about how other people view you, the way that they see you. If something is ending, you are allowing it to go through. You're able to look back on it fondly and understand and integrate into your life whatever the meaning of that situation was for you. But you are starting to move on more freely, more energetically, more excitedly. You are able to allow new things to come into your life, and that you will no longer feel overwhelmed by the opportunities and the choices that these changes bring. You will start to feel gifted by them and able to take them and grow them into something that is going to be really beautiful and abundant for you in good time. So pile number 3, I feel like what is changing for you is that you are no longer going to fear change. You are going to embrace it, and you are going to be your biggest, boldest self and not shrink yourself or overburden yourself or take on too much in order to appease others or prevent change and stop things from ending or going out of your life. I feel that you are going to start to grow in your own self-respect, your own dignity, and your own self-confidence, and you are going to start to be your biggest, loudest, most authentic, most wonderful self. And even if you are not loud or gregarious by nature, maybe you are very introverted, you're going to, in the reverse, stop pushing yourself to be more for others, because you will really start to come into a feeling of self-worth and start to look at your patterns and the way that you've been doing things and what you have been allowing in order to avoid change. You'll start to look at all of that very differently. So pile number 3, I hope that that resonated. If it did, please leave me a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the reading. Share if you think it'll resonate with someone else. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much if you have. I really appreciate you. And I might see you in another pile, or I might see you in another reading. Hello there, my gorgeous pile number 4. If you chose card number 30, Belleza, Fiera, I think that's how we pronounce it, and or the rose quartz, then you are my pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. So we're going to read from the book to find out a bit more about what this card means. If this doesn't resonate, then you'll know it's not your pile. Belleza Fiera, honor the lead mare. Wild horses roam and instinctively will travel in a herd. A dominant male stallion protects the herd from predators while positioned in the rear. The lead mare, also called the alpha mare, decides when a herd will move and where it will move. She leads all members to food and water in front of the herd. She raises any foals and teaches them how to be independent and get along with other herd members. In the human world, the role of the female is often downplayed, dishonored, or distorted. Males and females are often not treated or paid equally. The conditioning and messages that express the inequality of these sexes in certain cultures can go very deep. Have you noticed this in your life? Horses teach us another way. As a conscious person on a path of growth, examining your relationship to the feminine and the power of the feminine may be highly beneficial. If you are female, understanding how important a lead mare is to a herd may inspire you into higher levels of ownership of your skills, position, abilities, and purpose. You might learn to value yourself more. It is important not to buy into what social conditioning or the media might say, but instead define your value and contribution. Be proud of your intuitive, instinctual feminine qualities, along with the ability to also be full of fire and ready to set boundaries where needed. A lead mare is focused on the health of the whole more than the individual. Okay, guys, so even if you're a male, maybe you're someone who is comfortable being vulnerable, you are someone who is comfortable talking about feelings, and that makes you feel as though you are somehow unmanly or not masculine enough. Or if you are female, maybe you're in a position where you do feel like you always need to be strong, you have to fight for your position and where you stand in the world, or like, and that could be the wider world, or that could just be very much in your own world. But I feel like what is changing for you, pile number 4, is the way that you actually perceive yourself. And maybe you are someone who takes a lot of crap from people. You allow people to take advantage of you. You're too nice. You're a bit of a people pleaser. I feel that that is what is going to change as well. You are going to start setting boundaries for yourself and looking at yourself in a whole new light. So I feel like with the other piles, there was a lot of looking at the world very differently, but I feel like what's happening for you, pile number 4, what is changing for you is the way that you perceive yourself and your value and your self-worth and the ways in which you can show up and take ownership of what works for you and disregard what doesn't. So I'm going to ask the tarot for some more information about what is changing for you, my gorgeous pile number 4s. But I feel like what is changing for you is that you are going to start loving yourself more. So maybe you have already been spending a lot of time working on yourself, because this isn't the sort of change that happens overnight. Yeah, the devil. This is something that you get bound to. Ways of thinking, negative thoughts, feeling like you need to people please to be able to keep people in your life, feeling like you are burdened and have to push yourself to do more even when you're exhausted, because it's up to you to keep showing up. And here we go with the Emperor. Very much a boss and a leader. So yeah, I feel like what's changing for you, pile number 4, is that you are going to move from a supporting role in whatever it is you're doing, be it a relationship, a job, just your life in general. You're someone who, you may have felt as though you're someone that's been very much in a supporting role, doing things for others, that you do watch over the whole pack, but that you have minimized your importance in your community or in your family, in your friendship group, at your workplace. I feel like what is changing for you, pile number 4, is that you are going to step up and start taking ownership for your achievements, for your wonderful attributes, for whatever it is that you feel makes you somehow unvaluable, unlikable. You are going to start to find your voice and find the leadership qualities within you that you need to step up and to make yourself feel seen and heard. Yeah, beautiful. The 3 of Pentacles. And that's going to allow you to start working with others, to start showing them what you're capable of and what you can achieve. And people are going to start coming to you and looking at you as a bit more of an authority and someone who is very comfortable in their own self, and someone who is able to make decisions, who is able to take the lead, who can be vulnerable without fear of that making them weak, and who is really able to, embrace those feminine, what is often considered in society feminine qualities, but are qualities of a softer, kinder nature, not just to others, but also to yourself. Very interesting that the Hermit jumped right as I was saying that. So I feel like what is changing for you, pile number 4, is that you are going to start really looking within, very deeply within, at these long-held negative thought patterns that have kept you stuck, anything that has kept you from being seen, and anything that has kept you being small. I feel like what is changing for you, my pile number 4, is that you are going to start to step out of your own preconceived notions of who you are and what that makes you. Here we go, the Chariot. And yeah, start making decisions for yourself. Start leading yourself and even your pack, your community, your family, your friends. You are going to start to be the driving force in situations instead of taking a back seat and feeling more like a passenger and someone who is waiting to see how things unfold. I feel like you are going to step up, and as this card talks about, lead the herd. Allow themselves to be seen. Allow their work to be credited and attributed to them, and that you are going to start to leave these negative thought patterns behind, and this way of thinking that in some way you're not good enough, you're not able to stand in the spotlight by yourself, you are too fearful to do things differently. I feel like what is changing for you, pile number 4, is that fear is going to start to fall away. And as I said, you may have already done a lot of work on yourself to get to this point, and what is changing for you is that all of the work that you have been doing is actually going to really start to come to the fore and be really apparent as you start to step up and into your light and become the driving force behind the way that your life is going, the directions that you are taking. I feel that you're going to become much more sure of yourself. You are going to know that you can look within for the answers, and that people will start to come to you with the questions, because you are someone who is very knowledgeable. You are someone who is very powerful. You are someone who is very, very strong and very intuitive and very wise and very aware. And you are going to start to really recognize that in yourself, pile number 4, and that your confidence and your self-worth is really going to start to grow and you are going to start to shine. So we're going to grab some cards from the Light Seers deck now for some more information about what is changing for pile number 4. This is a really great reading, pile number 4. I really love this one because this feels like what is changing is you as a person and the way that you treat yourself, the way that you look at yourself, the way that you perceive who you are in this world and what your value is, what makes you someone that is so worthy to other people. And maybe you haven't been able to see that before. Maybe you've always felt pretty worthless, or like you're not valued for what you contribute, or like you don't deserve to be valued for what you contribute. I feel that you are going to start stepping up to really be your own hero and champion yourself. The Star, beautiful. The Wish card. Some people say make a wish when they see this, and some people feel like it's very much a wish coming true. But yeah, pile number 4, I feel that you have been working really hard on yourself. This isn't something that is coming about for you easily. I feel that this has taken a lot of time, and you are really at the precipice at this point in time in the way that you do see yourself. And maybe it's just residual anxiety that is still clinging to you. You're mostly free of it. You know that you can get free of it, but you're still clinging to these negative ways of thinking. What is changing for you is that you are going to let the last of this residual negative self-talk and self-doubt go, and that you are going to start embracing who you are and your beautiful light, the star that you are. You're going to become the star of your own show. And as I said, no longer be a passenger or riding shotgun. You are going to be the driver and the force, and really let the world see your talents and allow the world to give you credit for the person that you are. You're going to become your own authority, and potentially even the authority in matters that are of interest to other people. But you're going to find a way to work with people rather than working for people. So you're going to find your voice. You're going to feel more confident in sharing your opinions. You're not going to feel like you need to keep hiding yourself from the world in any way, shape, or form. Beautiful. The Two of Pentacles. Yeah, I think what's changing for you, pile number 4, is that you are going to start to find balance. And you will realize that, of course, you have negatives in your personality, negative traits. Everybody does. But you will be able to focus so much more positively on what makes you a good person, what makes you a leader. Even if that's just someone who's able to lead their own life successfully. It may not necessarily be that you want to go out there and lead other people, but I do think that you are going to start to put your hand up and take credit for your work, for your positive attributes, for what you bring to the table when it comes to any situation. Gorgeous. The Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. All of these gifts that you leave behind for making the world a better place. I feel that what is changing for you, pile number 4, is that you are going to really start to see the gift that you are and what you do bring in, what your value is to other people, how much kindness and joy that you actually spread, how much goodness you bring into the world, and you are going to start to feel really good about yourself, and that is going to start to become apparent to the people that are around you. Your light is going to really be switched on, and you are not going to feel ashamed or like you need to back away from opportunities and challenges. 5 of Wands. Yeah, any feelings that you've had where you are fighting with yourself and struggling, overthinking, feeling like you can't get out of situations, or like you're just stuck in your head, going around and around in circles, negative thought patterns, as I've said, being tied to things that no longer serve you. I feel that this is what is leaving your life. Pile number 4, this is what's changing. You're no longer going to find that it's an internal struggle for you to just be you. You're going to start to really value who you are and your contributions, and you're going to be so much more focused on that than on whatever negative thoughts have been keeping you down until this point. Pile number 4, no matter how many cards I pull, If you ever want the short pile, always go with pile number 4, because for some reason it always ends up being about 10 minutes shorter than all of my other ones. Judgment. Okay, this has come out. I'm pretty sure this has come out in every single pile. So if you're interested in any of the others, they definitely could resonate. Go back and check them out if you feel called to. But yeah, I feel that you are going to release judgments of yourself, pile number 4. What is changing for you is the harsh judgments that you have placed upon yourself previously. You're going to allow your soul to be free, to rise up, for you to show your light and who you are to the world, and that you are going to lead your family, lead your friends, lead your team, or as I said, just simply lead yourself into a better place mentally, where you start to feel really good about yourself, where you start to feel like all of this self-work that you have been doing has not been for nothing. I feel like at this point, what is changing for you, pile number 4, is that whatever you have been pouring into yourself in a positive fashion is really going to now manifest, come into fruition, and really allow you to see yourself through the eyes of others and see how beautiful you are, how worthy you are, that you do have the answers, that you do have the intuition, that you do have the driving ability and force to be able to do what is best, not just for yourself, but for the herd, but for the wider community. So pile number 4, I'm going to get a couple of cards from the Horse Wisdom Oracle. I'm trying to draw this out a little so that it's not 10 minutes shorter than the other readings, but that also seems a bit inauthentic. So we'll just go with the Horse Oracle cards to close out your message. But I very much feel that what is changing for you is the way that you view yourself. Beautiful. Alchemy. Sorry, should go that way. Number 2. And 2 is, of course, being all about balance. And even with this here, with the male and the female, I very much feel like you are going to learn how to balance your divine feminine and divine masculine as well. So it doesn't matter what sex you are. Either way, you are very much going to be able to balance the qualities within you so that you do feel balanced. You don't feel like having any sort of feminine qualities is a negative, because you also have the associated masculine qualities to balance that out. So you might be very soft and gentle and nurturing, but you can also be a boss and stand up for yourself and put boundaries in place to deal with various situations. So this internal struggle that you may have been having trying to balance these two, and over here again with the balance, I feel like you have for a really long time wished that you could feel more balance and wish that you could feel more confidence and faith in who you are and your abilities. And this star card is very much that wish coming true, that everything you have poured into yourself is going to manifest now into a better, healthier way of viewing yourself and feeling a lot lighter and brighter and more able to show yourself to the world. All right, just one more, please, Spirit. Yep, no. Everybody got 4 piles today. All right, and interestingly, I did say that I wanted this reading to be a little bit longer, and I've had 2 cards flip out. So everybody else got 3. You're going to get 4. Pile number 4. So we've got number 42, Dark Mythos. And lastly, number 36, Run to Freedom. Did I say pile 42? Card 42, number 42. So we've got 36, Run to Freedom. All right, so number 2, Alchemy. Wake up and live your purpose and passion. Yeah, feels very, very fitting with everything I've just said. Look deep into the horse's eyes, and you may feel his restless stare penetrating right into your heart or soul. He is unflinching and direct in his mirroring. He sees who you authentically are at your soul level and invites you to cultivate a higher level of respect for yourself and your path. All of these things that we have talked about here. His stare is alchemical in nature. It wakes you up and propels you into self-realization. So yeah, what is changing for you, pile number 4s, is all the hard work you've been doing to look at yourself differently and in a more positive light. That is what is starting to alchemize for you and manifest into reality. It is time to make significant strides to live your passion and purpose. It is time for you to master your gifts and offer them to others, like this card over here. Alchemy invites you to be honest with yourself and stop living the life others want you to. You are not serving anyone by being who they want you to be. Your true self lives deep inside you. You may have lost your way and abandoned your true feelings in the darkness, but if you look deeply, you know who you are. And I feel like that is exactly what you guys have been doing, looking really deeply into yourself and doing a lot of self-work. Being loyal to oneself is not a selfish act. It is your birthright to be truly yourself and share that with others. Yeah, and I feel like with this card, maybe it has been your nature to put everybody else first and put yourself behind because you don't feel like you should be thinking of yourself. You should be thinking of the group. And you are starting to realize that you are worthy and that you have the right to reach out for love and attention, and that you can give that to yourself as well, that you don't always need to be focused on everybody else's needs in order to be a good person. You can take care of yourself and focus on what it is that you need. You can boss up, you can demand certain things, boundaries, you can enforce boundaries, you can put requests in to the universe and to people. You can ask for what you need, and that doesn't make you in any way selfish or a bad person. And now we have number 42. Dark Mythos. Find the pathway out of crisis and move to the light. Light highlights the neck and face of a black stallion as he looks at you with great concern and asks if you are ready to move beyond the despair, anxiety, melancholy, or anxiety, I've just mentioned that a second time, you may be experiencing. If so, follow his lead, as his strength and wisdom can guide you to an understanding of your experience. Unlike horses, humans have a complex way of experiencing life that involves questioning the purpose of life itself, one's place within the world, and the search for inner freedom. External circumstances, such as natural disasters, pandemics, and the death of an occupation or loved one, drive us into high stress. Remorseful thoughts of the past keep us in regret. It is essential to find the roots of one's dark and stressful feelings and to harness the ability to be with them through practices like meditation or breath work. And I feel like this is talking about the devil being harnessed to these experiences, but very much what is changing is you are learning to move through dark experiences. You're learning how to alchemize negatives into your life to turn them into positives and create new beginnings, and not get stuck in this spiral of fighting with yourself and overthinking and the mental chatter that tells you that you're not worthy or these things happen to you because you deserve them. You're able to see what comes out of a dark situation and lean into the light. It is essential to find the roots of one's dark and stressful feelings and to harness the ability to be with them through practices like meditation or breath work. Slowing down and living a simplified life, like a horse, guides you to more mental clarity. This is all the stuff I feel like you have been doing, number 4. I feel like that's what you have been changing, and the change is that it is going to alchemize into a very real result of you being able to see yourself in a very different light. Being fully present, like a horse, and feeling your emotions gives you more power to make choices. You cannot ignore the crisis you're experiencing by seeking a pathway out. The pathway is through it. Once clarity is gained, a bold step or leap of faith is the best option, moving toward a glimmer of light, and the unknown can feel scary when you know what feels safer. So yeah, keeping yourself small feels safer, but I feel like what is changing for you is that you are no longer going to do that. Pile number 4. Take a leap of faith and follow Dark Mythos. He is here to guide you to break away from your unconscious limiting beliefs, the devil card again, about life, and instead move toward the light. Yeah, so I feel like what's changing for you guys is that you are starting to move toward the light. You are starting to look at yourself through the eyes of others and see that you are doing no one any good by keeping yourself small. And then finally we have Run to Freedom. Recognize your authentic calling. And this is what I feel is changing for you. Pile number 4, that as you are starting to recognize your authentic being and be your authentic being, you are starting to open up new pathways for yourself. New gifts are coming in, and you are able to start to see what it is that you are passionate and excited about. You're no longer dulling yourself and your interests and your wants and needs down for others, and that is giving you this driving force to move forward and really seize what it is that you want for yourself. So Run to Freedom, they are collected, in sync, and on a mission. There is a unison in their movement toward their goal. As a team, they are in harmony and know their place on Earth. They understand what they are here to do and how they will do it together. The threesome of horses moving with such grace emulates true authenticity, the knowing of oneself. Do you have a calling? These three horses highlight that there may be a more significant way for you to contribute to humanity, the land, animals, or the creator. So yeah, however you feel like you've been contributing now by keeping yourself small, that is not how you are supposed to contribute. And what is changing is that you're starting to become aware of that pile number 4. Often a calling can be something that bothers us so greatly that we need to take action to create a solution. It may be to provide meals or shelter for the homeless, clean up the toxic waste on the planet, or rescue abandoned or abused animals. Other times, our calling comes to us through a visceral response in our bodies. We watch wild horses racing across the desert and are overwhelmed with emotion. We witness the process of birth or death and feel transcended. It is very different for every person. Part of recognizing our calling is coming back to our absolute true self. We realize what our spirit needs to do to feel fulfilled. Then we are off running with the others to fully express our aliveness and contribute to the greater whole. And that's a really lovely circle back to this one where it spoke about how the lead horse does things for the group rather than for herself. I feel that you will be able to see that doing for yourself is what the group needs, and that you feeding yourself, your heart, your soul, your self-esteem is actually very much benefiting the whole. It benefits your family, it benefits your friends, it benefits your loved ones. So I feel pile number 4, what is changing for you is that what you have already been doing, a lot of self-love, a lot of self-work, probably a lot of mirror work and shadow work even, is actually going to come into fruition and pay dividends, and you are going to really rise up and see yourself for the beautiful, bright being that you are, and no longer keep yourself chained to negative self-doubt, negative thoughts about self, a low self-esteem. You are going to rise up, take the lead, start showing who you are to other people, know that you have the wisdom and the insight to really be the driving force in your life, and that you are going to let your light shine. So pile number 4, if that resonated, please hit the like button, comment if you'd like to let me know what you thought of the reading, share if you think it would resonate with someone else, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you so much, I appreciate you. I might see you in another pile, or I might see you in another reading.